In my, we share. Like,
oh no, there's perfectly fine. I could say that our plans, the building and the school year calendar.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Melissa. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss you. No, that's fine.
All right. I'd like to call to order the January 23rd, 2024 public meeting of the Morristown Board of Education. Notice was filed with the Courier Post and Burlington County Times both on January 21st, 2024. May I please get a moment of silence? Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
James, could you take a roll call, please?
Ms. Arcaro Burns,
Present.
Mrs. Barnes.
Here.
Mrs. Fowles Macaluso,
Here.
Dr. Maya,
Here.
Mrs. Miller,
Here.
Mrs. Morano, Mr. Weeks,
Present.
Mrs. McCopolis,
Present.
Mr. Villanueva.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I please get a motion for the approval of the December 12th, 2023 executive session and regular meeting, as well as the January 2nd, 2024 reorganization meeting? Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Anyone else? Thank you. And we are going to kick off our meeting with the student board representative report. So thank you all for being here. Why don't we start with our senior liaison?
Good evening, board and parents. To celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, the Student Council put on an assembly to show the school the importance of MLK Jr. We invited guest speakers to talk about their personal experiences with race and also the future of our community. We also have a special shout out to Morristown's Josh Ross for speaking, and the class officers spoke about the life and legacy of MLK along with the video supplemental. We also showed a video clip where we asked members of our high school and local Morristown community what they hope for the future and what inspired them to perform. The choir performed this song, and all around we see MLK Assembly as a major success and very well received among the students and the adults. We at Morristown High School believe this is a very important commitment to honor MLK's legacy and continue to strive to make our community a more inclusive and better place. As we students and members of Student Council, we spoke about the life and legacy of MLK with the video supplemental. We showed a video clip about him and members of our high school and community what they hope for the future and inspiring our general audience, which follow up with the previous speech. We also founded the second annual Love Fair, which was also met with a good amount of people coming in. clubs in our school, also with the police department, fire department showed up, and it was a very immersive community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last Wednesday, the January 17th, the high school hosted the second annual Learning Opportunities and Volunteer Engagement Fair, or the Love Fair for short. The Love Fair was created as a way last year to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s commitment to service and to extend that commitment to our school. This year, it was actually in the Eisenberg Gym due to the sheer number of participants. The participants included groups that had informational presentation, groups that were outside groups looking for volunteers, and school clubs. Some groups that came were the Historical Society, Fire Department, and school clubs like UNICEF, Junior State of America, and the Jewish Culture Club, which is a club that I actually co-founded. A large number of students came to the event. It was a lot of really great attendance, and feedback has been really positive. We're going to definitely continue this wonderful tradition next year, and it continues to grow each year.
Great. Thank you.
Good evening. So recently, a group of sophomore and junior students, some in student council, some in not, made a trip to the ADL conference to have a discussion in Philadelphia, to have discussions about inclusivity and making our own school more inclusive. Students who attended the conference now meet weekly or bi-weekly to try and apply the lessons that we learned at this conference to MHS. One thing that was created by the students who went to the conference was the United Voices Club. The United Voices Club is a club whose goals are promoting respect for all people and fostering a prejudice-free school. Some of the ways they are planning on accomplishing these goals is through team building activities, more school-wide events, and having conversations with everyone. Now, we are very excited to see where this club will go in the future and how well it will affect our school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. This week, the high school students are gearing up for midterm exams, which are now next week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, thanks to the snow day. Most students were thankful to have a few extra days to prepare for exams. Teachers have been very supportive and helpful in order for students to get ready for the exams. They have provided students with detailed study guides in order to be successful. I know that the freshman class is quite nervous about exams as this is our first time taking them. There will be many opportunities for students to prepare, which is comforting. Students can attend 14th period to review with teachers, and as of tomorrow, students can attend Cram Jam in the cafeteria after school. Student tutors will be available to those who will help anyone who needs little guidance on studying. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming and sharing your reports about what's going on in the high school. It's great to hear what's going on, and it's good to see some new faces here that we haven't heard from in the past. So thank you. And thank you for your flexibility. I know we had to postpone last week's meeting to this week. So thank you for being nimble and adjusting your schedules. Sounds like all of you have some busy midterms coming up, so you're free to stay, but you can also get home and hit the books if you'd like to. But we're going to carry on with the rest of the meeting. So thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. And again, thanks for everyone's flexibility last week when we decided to postpone the meeting, given the weather. We thought it was best to postpone it to this week just for everyone's safety and make sure everybody gets home while those conditions were so icy. I did want to acknowledge Barbara Barker, who was a paraprofessional at the UES, who unfortunately passed away over winter break rather suddenly. She was a para that welcomed students all throughout the schools, but particularly at the cafeteria and on the playground. And when I had mentioned her passing to my fifth grader, she was very upset. She said Miss Bobby, and you could tell that Miss Bobby definitely connected with the students in the school. So our condolences to her family, to the staff in the district on the loss, particularly the staff that worked closely with her at UES. With respect to the delayed openings and the school closures, thank you to district administration for how that was all handled. And I just wanted to give a special thank you to Wilson Quintero, who is the supervisor of buildings and grounds, and his team, as well as James. I know James was here very, very early in the morning when we had those delayed openings to make sure that our sidewalks and driveways and parking lots were all plowed and salted as best as they could be to ensure that students and staff were able to arrive safely in the inclement conditions. So thank you. Thank you. I know that Wilson's team was here, at 3, 4 in the morning to make sure that things were as seamless as possible. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Bollendorf for the superintendent's report.
Thanks, Mark. Just a couple of things. First of all, once again, it's been a year now that I've been here, exactly the 23rd, which I can't believe has gone by so quickly. But one of the first things I did when I came here last year was attended a unified basketball game. And I was just so taken by the interaction of our students and the support that they receive from our community, our staff. And I did go to a game yesterday, and I was there for a little while. And it's just a marvel to see what has been embraced in this community in terms of inclusivity of all of our students, and how we work together to make us all feel a part of this Moorestown family. And it's very commendable, and probably something that the community takes for granted. But I can assure you that I wouldn't say you stand alone, but you stand apart in so many of the things that you do as it relates to the work that is in place for our kids. And I just want you to know, from an outside perspective, I admire it and I appreciate it. And I want to congratulate those of you that are very much responsible for keeping those kinds of programs in place. That being said, and following up on the snow days, first of all, thank you from the community. Perhaps, because not everybody has my email, I didn't get a lot of emails questioning my decision making, which always makes me feel good. And I was happy for our ability to get the word out the evening before. That's not always going to be the case. It was the case in these occasions. And I know that helps with planning your day the following day, because clearly everybody has jobs, everybody has lives, and scrambling to try to figure out what you're doing with your children when now they're staying home and they're going to school a little bit later or earlier, whatever the case may be, is a significant challenge. And I don't want you to think that that isn't lost on me. It's certainly a very big part of the decision-making process, but I do think that the right decisions were made, and I do appreciate the support the community has given as it relates to that. How that impacts us, there are 2 days built into the calendar for snow days, one of which now has been used. So those snow days wrap around Memorial Day weekend. It's the Friday before Memorial Day and the Tuesday after. So the Tuesday after is gone. So your kids will have school on that day. But hopefully, if the winter doesn't become terrible, we'll stay at 1 day and you'll still have a 4-day weekend come Memorial Day weekend. I want to echo Mark's thanks. I spent a lot of time from, where I live, on the phone with James and with Wilson and Joe McColgan, the athletic director. You can't imagine the machinations that go on, particularly with events that have to be rescheduled and decisions needed to be made over the weekend, whether or not this event was going on or that event was going on. Really a very dedicated staff to making sure that they were working all towards the same goal, which was to get our buildings open as quickly as possible and get our kids back to being able to do the things that they love to do. So I want to thank all of those folks involved. And with that, I turn the meeting back over to Mark.
Great. Thank you, Joe. And just oh, that's great.
We had Diane Lynch, who served as a bus driver for 1 year. We just want to thank her for getting our students to and from school safely and wish her the best in her retirement. Vince Lavecchio was assistant engineer for our IT department, working with Jeff. He's worked at Mtps for 8 years. He's out and about traveling throughout the US, and we wish him also the best in his retirement. So I just want to thank her.
And all the best to both of them as they move on to their next chapter. Next, we have board committee reports. Now, this is January. The board just reorganized, and we every year there's different committee assignments. And so not all of our committees met with sort of the crunch of time and getting those committees together, but we will go through those and at least report as to those that did have an opportunity to meet. First is the ad hoc committee on housing development. We are scheduled to meet next week, so there is no update there. Communications, Melissa Arcaro Burns is the chair of that committee, so if you don't mind.
Thank you. We met on the 12th or the 11th? The 11th. And it was myself, Mrs. Fallis-Macaluso, Dr. Myatt, Dr. Tate, Mrs. Makapolis, and Mr. Bollendorf. Mrs. Fallis-Macaluso provided an update from the last meeting that we had in November to present. We discussed our increased social media presence, which hopefully you all have noticed. And we also discussed how we continue to improve those postings and use social media as a way to more effectively and easily get information to the larger community. Mr. Bollendorf addressed the district calendar for a bit and his intention to present calendars that span out over the course of 3 years versus our 1 year at a time. And the hope that those calendars can reflect exactly what happens in the district every day. We also discussed the possibility of restarting the Sun articles, which some of you may remember the board put out several years ago before COVID, and it essentially laid out the facts of what happened at every meeting. The committee believes that that is a great way for us to, again, reach people in the community who may not attend our meetings or watch them online or have a social media presence themselves. There was discussion, as always, related to our website. We had a very robust discussion related to starting the community forums up again that the board facilitated prior to COVID and one, I believe, during COVID. We'll be discussing possible topics for those forums at the next meeting. And we also were in agreement that forums similar to that and other ways to engage the community will be necessary for the purposes of the referendum that are coming up. And lastly, the committee is in agreement that we will work to develop descriptions for each board committee that will lay out the purpose and goals for those committees. A lot of districts do have those types of descriptions on their website. And we thought that would be a good project for us to take on. So we'll work on that over the next couple of meetings. And the next meeting is scheduled for February 7th. Thanks.
Any questions for Melissa? All right. Moving on to curriculum. Danielle Miller is the chair, although I understand Cheryl will be providing the report.
Yes, I can't see you if I look like this. So the curriculum committee met on January 18th. In attendance was Mr. Bollendorf, Dr. Benton, Ms. Butler, myself, Ms. Barnes, and Dr. Myatt. Danielle Miller is the new chair, but unfortunately couldn't make the meeting, so I covered for her as chair. Our guest attendees were Kat D'Ambra and Mr. Drew Seibel. For discussion was new MHS courses. This was informational. for the 24-25 school year. They presented some, Mrs. D'Ambra and Mr. Seibel presented some proposed updates, program of studies, specifically as it relates to modifications to level 1 and level 2 elective courses. And the goal is really to create more opportunities for inclusion and meaningful progression through these electives. They also shared that the high school administration team is currently assessing the math course progression and exploring creative ways to create pathways for students at all levels. We also discussed a UES student research project. This was informational only, and this is related to social emotional learning and understanding the impact on metacognition and academic achievement in 4th grade. More information will go out to parents on that front. We discussed the EDC update specifically with respect to a winter session of Creative Minds. Again, this was informational in nature, but the Creative Minds program will run for 6 weeks starting in late February. And there will be a summer program, and the new EDC coordinator will be providing dates to the community as soon as possible with an initial announcement about the summer enrichment program. There was also discussion about the math pilot and an update. This is currently informational, but will become actionable to the board when we get to budget season, which is upon us. And the pilot team is grades K-8. They are assessing the resources, and there will be further discussion of the budget and the instructional impact of that investment as we move forward in the process. And then Ms. Butler came to the meeting and she shared a quick overview on the first meeting of the DICE committee. This was again informational to the committee, and we'll be continuing some of that. She'll be bringing more information next month. Off agenda, which wasn't planned, but Mr. Bollendorf did share that the state of New Jersey recognized learning acceleration in Moorestown's academic progress post-pandemic at Baker and Moorestown High School. So we were apparently one of a handful of districts recognized in the state of New Jersey. So congratulations. But that was an update that Mr. Bollendorf gave. Any questions?
Great. That's awesome. I hadn't heard about that distinction in terms of being recognized in the lower grades in the high school. So that's awesome.
Just to put some color on it, the recognition is really in an attempt to come down. They'll be working directly with Dr. Benton. They want to investigate what we're doing and why this is happening. If there is or is not any real parallels to programming and things that have been put in place, initiatives that have accelerated our growth over the course of that time where other districts continue to struggle. So it is a nice accolade, but it's also an opportunity for us to diagnose some of those things that we may not even be aware are really, having a very positive impact. So this is a good thing for the district, and it is a nice accolade that we should enjoy. More information will be coming on it.
Mick, could you provide a update on finance and operations?
Sure. We were one of those committees that got caught in the transition, so ended up postponing our meeting. And given the timing, we'll just have our February meeting, which will be in 2 weeks on February 6th.
Sounds good. Thank you. Policy, Claudine is the chair of that committee. She had a pre-existing work conflict tonight, and so couldn't make it when we had to reschedule from last week. The committee didn't meet this in January. That's not to say that we haven't been doing work on the community organization policies. We've had very helpful, informative discussions with various groups that are covered under those policies. And so the committee will be meeting, I don't have the date at hand, but at some point in the next few weeks to discuss possible revisions to those policies to address some of those helpful comments that we had received from the organization. So I do expect that the revised policies, if they are revised, will be up for second reading next month. And so as part of our process, that second reading would be the final reading and thereby making those policies effective. Are there any off-board committee updates or reports?
I have some.
Go for it.
From Speak, a Special Education Advocacy Council. Speak has a lot of really great events coming up in the next few months. The first is at the next meeting on the 25th at 9:30 a.m. in the Star Center. Teresa Miller from Morristown Rec will be there to talk about all of the programs that are available for our kiddos. February 22nd at 6 p.m. there will be a presentation, a parent training called IEP 101, and that'll be in the Star Center. And that should be a very informative session for parents who are facing IEP meetings coming up this spring. There will be in March on the 28th at 9:30, a sergeant from the Morristown Police Department coming to speak about safety specifically for our kids. And I know that that'll be a really informative session. And there are additional things that are coming. But if you cannot attend the Thursday meeting at 9:30, there is a virtual option available, and it's available for every single meeting that Speak has. You just go to their Facebook page, click on the link, and it'll direct you right to it. Thanks. Sorry, I forgot to mention, Unified Basketball Tournament this Saturday, the 27th at the high school. Doors open at 8:15 a.m.
Thanks, Melissa. Any other off-board committee reports? Brooke.
Hi, everyone. I am giving the committee report for More Arts. Those of you that don't know, they're having their big gala next weekend at the Community House, Saturday, February 3rd, 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. There are going to be a ton of performances from Morristown high school musicians and vocalists, and also Morristown alumni. So it's going to be a great evening, and also a fabulous art auction of some fabulous art and photographs. Tickets are available at morearts.org, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thanks, Brooke. I had the fortune of attending the More Arts meeting this month. It was the first time that I'd gone, and I was really just impressed with all the work that organization does to support students that are interested in the arts in Morristown. The planning that goes into everything that they do, particularly the gala, was really impressive. So I hope people have the opportunity to go out and check out the art show and support the organizations, because they do a lot of good work in Morristown, and so we're very thankful for that. Any other off-board committee reports? All right. Next is our first public comment section. This is the opportunity for the public to provide public comment on items that are listed in our agenda. The ground rules are set forth in the agenda itself. Please limit your comments to about 3 minutes. And again, this section is related only to items listed on the agenda. So could I please get a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you. And if you do intend to make a public comment, I just please ask that you state your name and address to the extent you're comfortable. All right. Seeing nobody approaching, can I get a motion to close public comment?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to our action items. Reports to the board, Article 9 of the agenda. May I please get a motion for the approval of items 1 through 5? Any comments or questions? All in favor? Any noes or abstentions? Thank you. Article 10, recommendations of the superintendent. May I please get a motion for the approval of items 1 through 4 contained in that section of the agenda? Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Can get a motion for approval of the 2023 to 2024 memorandum of agreement for live streaming? Please.
It's law enforcement.
Gotcha. Okay, the law enforcement memorandum.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Letter B, under recommendations of the superintendent, can I please get a motion for the approval of items 1 through 4?
So moved.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Noes or abstentions? Thank you. In finance and business, may I please get a motion for the approval of items 1 through 6?
So moved.
Give me 1 second. Okay. Any comments or questions? I'll say we've got a section for donations here, and wanted to give a thank you to everybody that gave us their generous donations, including Neuro Restorative with Mr. Al Minakazi. More Arts made a number of donations, which we're very thankful for, and Home and School also kindly made a donation for the science fair. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Thank you. Next up is employee relations. And we discussed 4 items in executive related to personnel and professional development. May I please get a motion for approval of items 1 through 15 as amended during executive session?
Second.
And this is a roll call vote.
Ms. Arcara Burns,
Yes.
Mrs. Barnes, Mrs. Fowles Macaluso, Dr. Myatt, Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Morano, Mr. Weeks,
Yes.
Mrs. McCopolis,
Yes.
Mr. Villanueva.
Yes.
Thank you.
Article 11 relates to suspensions in the exhibit that's contained in the agenda. There's also the superintendent's HIB report as discussed in our December 2023 executive session. Can I please get a motion for approval of the superintendent's HIB report?
So moved.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Noes or abstentions? Thank you. Article 12 contains enrollment information. When I looked at it, I did observe that there is an increase in our total enrollment, particularly at UES and the elementary schools. But that is just an informational only item. Is there any old business? Any new business? Bless you. All right, no new business. Now is our second public comment section. Same rules apply. This is the opportunity to provide public comment on anything on or off the agenda that relates to the business of the schools. And if you'd like to make a comment, please state your name and address and limit your comments to about 3 minutes. May I please get a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Angela Murphy. I teach at the high school, and I would like to commend my colleagues at Baker for Mrs. Vaxman and Miss Bottinelli, second grade teachers at Baker, joined their classes to play a few fun rounds of Kahoot. What a fun way to practice spelling and math. The third grade chorus at Baker performed their holiday concert for the residents and staff at Care One in December. This is an optional chorus where students give up 1 day a week of their recess time to participate. 76 students chose to participate in chorus. The concert for the school and families put everyone in the holiday spirit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paige Morgan. I'm a teacher at Morristown High School in the English department, and I am here to commend my colleagues at South Valley, my alma mater, because as part of their curriculum, the kindergarten classes at South Valley welcomed parents of various students into their classes to share various holiday customs. The students heard stories and completed crafts associated with the holidays of Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa. Exposing our children to various cultures, customs, and traditions is such an important part of helping our students appreciate and respect our differences. Go South Valley.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Grace Mulligan. I teach language arts at WAMS, so I'd like to commend my colleagues at WAMS for the Oasis Club that ran a bake sale this month to raise money for the Jaden Strong Foundation, which supports families impacted by pediatric brain cancer. We also had the WAMS movie afternoon last Friday. Students had a great time. I actually personally popped in on that. They were watching Matilda, which is a fabulous classic. And I happened to walk in at a time where the entire auditorium was, broken out in laughter. So thank you to Home and School for their assistance and providing the snacks and drinks. It was a big hit. Students are working hard at winter sports and extracurricular activities, including preparing for the spring musical Rock of Ages. Also, best of luck to the honors math students who will be competing in the AMC 8 math competition this Friday.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cindy Neri. I teach at the UES, and I would like to commend my colleagues at the UES. This month, the UES is focusing on Character Strong Word of the Month, which is empathy. Each morning, the students engage in activities and lessons centered around giving and receiving empathy. The fifth graders will be having their winter carnival. It was supposed to be last Friday. Now it's rescheduled for this Friday, where they will be participating in carnival games and treats. Also on the 26th, we're having a Spirit Day, which is called Frosty Friday. You're supposed to wear all white or winter colors. Finally, teachers will be engaging in language arts activities. I think this might have already taken place where they had professional development half day, and that was to help support them in their 2-year rollout of the Interreading program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amory Kerwin. I teach at Morristown High School, and I'd like to commend my colleagues for the Madrigals and Miss Kayla Johnson have completed 37 holiday gigs this season, spreading joy to the community and raising money for upcoming academic choral experiences. They also gathered with family, friends, and alumni of the program at the annual holiday dinner to celebrate the thriving MHS Madrigal tradition. The students performed holiday favorites and invited alumni of various generations to close the evening with the Irish Blessing. The choral program will be performing their spring concert at the Princeton Chapel at Princeton University this upcoming March. Also noteworthy are that over 50 Morristown High School students are currently preparing for their upcoming spring musical. After last year's state award-winning Cinderella, this year's production of Mamma Mia, the Broadway and international smash hit featuring the songs of ABBA. Performances are the last weekend in February and the first weekend in March, and seats are sure to go fast, so watch the website and the Daily Bulletin for announcements when the tickets go on sale. All of this is thanks to Mr. Haar and his team. Finally, the MHS debate team is off to a wonderful start for the 23-24 South Jersey Debate League season. Varsity is 6-0, JV is 5-2, both placing first in the league. The Model Congress is preparing to head to Boston next month for the Harvard Model Congress, the national's largest high school Model Congress conference. Morristown looks to continue its legacy of success. Last year, MHS brought home a very impressive 12 awards from this event. Thank you to Mr. Mooney and Mr. Forshey.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle Namnen and I work here at WAMS. I would like to recognize my colleagues at Roberts for their work with this month's assemblies. They are focusing on integrity, and every first, second, and third grade classroom will nominate a student who will receive the Citizen of the Month award. Additionally, we are very appreciative to Home and School for bringing a cultural arts assembly to Roberts. It focuses on an acrobat named Lee Liu, who connects acrobatics with education, looking into Chinese traditions and culture.
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa Trapani. I teach at the high school. But before I read my comment, I would also like to say that I was not at the December board meeting, so I missed the opportunity to thank Lauren Romano for her service. So I wanted to do that publicly to make sure it was reflected in the minutes. She served many years on the board. She did an excellent job. I worked with her son. He was a student officer. And I have sent her a note privately, but I wanted to make sure I did that because I have, done that for the board members who do give their time, volunteer, and are an important part of the community. So I want to thank Ms. Romano for her service. And I'd also like to recognize all of my colleagues in the district with the following information. Niche, which is an American company headquartered in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that runs a ranking and review site. It is an online resource providing information on K-12 schools and colleges across the country. According to its website, Niche is the leader in K-12 school rankings. They currently ranked Morristown Township Public Schools very high in the state and the county. So in Burlington County, districts with the best teachers in Burlington County, we were number 1 out of 25. Best school districts in Burlington County, 1 out of 15. Best school districts in athletics for Burlington County, 3 out of 15. In the state, districts with the best teachers in New Jersey, 9 out of 353. Best school districts in New Jersey, 10 out of 245. And best school districts for athletics in New Jersey, number 31 out of 245. So I wanted to make sure that we were recognizing all of our colleagues for their efforts to attain this status. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina Milligan. I live on Apple Orchard Road. I'm representing the Home School First Vice President. We'd like to start by thanking all of our school chairs and volunteers for the hard work that they put into our staff appreciation events last month. We always enjoy showing appreciation for everyone who works at our schools. For fundraisers, we hosted restaurant nights with Jersey Mike's in December, and we're working with them to offer another event later on in the year. We've also been selling Morristown apparel and still have tumblers, umbrellas, and these really cute little crock charms in the shape of the Quaker mascot available. At the schools, we've been busy. At WAMS, we worked with their student council on their annual movie afternoon. Coming up, we will be hosting the 5th grade carnival and 4th grade bingo, and planning for the 3rd grade dance has actually already started. We'll be helping with the Valentine's Day parties next month. We've opened up sponsorship opportunities for Boosterthon, with its kickoff at being less than 6 weeks away, followed by our Scholastic book fairs. We welcome everyone to become a member of Home and School. You can find out more information on our website, morristownhsa.org, Instagram, or Facebook pages. On behalf of Home and School, we'd like to thank the board and administration for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. If nobody else approaching the microphone, can I get a motion to close public comment, please?
So moved.
All in favor? Anything for the good of the order? No? Great. Can I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you.